Hello and welcome back to the Winter 2025 Trash Anime Award Show.
What a truly marvelous season for those that stayed in the top 1%. But I ventured to the depths like missionaries in the 1900s to hand out participation awards to those who need it. So without further ado, let's begin. Warning, the following contains vulgar language that may cause neurological breakdowns to those that are probably watching this video, because the theme of the season was employment and jobs. So what anime was the most employed of the season? I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time follows a woman who finally got her dream job of working at the DMV. But there's one thing that she hates more than anything: overtime.
Relax, go to your happy place,
Sorry, I'll never say that to you ever again, Nanami.
To avoid working overtime, she defeats bosses with her special ability, Hammer. Amaku MD Dr. Detective. Better. Except the difference is, she will quite literally do anything but clock into her 9 to 5. I've seen her in a lab coat less times than I've seen a toothpaste.
However, the winner of the Most Employed Anime of the Season award goes to Headhunted to Another World, from Salaryman to Big Four.
Dinosuke is the average Japanese salaryman. Overworked, alcoholic, and the very idea of the female genitalia disgusts me. I could be filing paperwork instead. Over time, he builds up a resume so impressive he could make it through 3 rounds of interviews to almost be hired by Walmart. But the Demon King, impressed with his resume, transfers him to the Demon Realm, where he does the exact same thing, but in this world. The 40-year-old Japanese men yearn for the labor.
Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. Sorry, it's my wedding day. I'm the groom. Speaking of which, who was the best groomer of the season?
In Magic Maker, How to Make Magic in Another World, a 30-year-old man was reincarnated.
In what messed up world would we be apart? I'm your big sis, silly.
That's kind of his sister, so this is either a oh yay or a, oh no.
And a brother and sister can never get married.
What? Why not?
Oh no. The best part is, he gets his powers from confessing his feelings to his sister through some kind of incestuous invocation. But what do you expect from an author that posted this? Maybe I judged him too quickly. Grooming can be defined as the practice of preparing or training someone for a particular purpose or activity. And Flower and Asura is a masterclass at this, only being outdone by military recruiters gaslighting teenagers with Hellcats. Hannah's about to start out high school, but before she does, the president of the broadcast club somehow scouts her and me out unprompted. Despite wanting to join the club, she can't, because she lives on an island where the last ferry departs before the club meets. Yet somehow, like prime ex-boyfriend, she manages to not only gaslight Hannah, but also her mother into letting her join despite the ocean-sized problem. Better hope the club doubles as a kayaking club, or the Japanese boatman wants to work overtime. The 40-year-old Japanese men yearn for the labor.
However, the winner of the Best Grooming Anime of the Season goes to Bon Vampire.
Many claim that the peak of grooming is how quickly the action is done. But this sport isn't an any percent speedrun, but based on the longevity of the groom. I'm never getting hired. And who has more time than a vampire who desperately wants a 16-year-old to remain a virgin until they turn 18, like every father during prom night? He's counting down the seconds till he can suck his blood, so remember, he's no pedophile. But he is a groomer though. This show also gave us gems like on average, most relationships end within 3 to 5 months. Speaking of failed relationships, what was the worst romance anime of the season? There was Okitsura, fell in love with an Okinawan girl, but I just wish I know what she sang, where our protagonist moved to an island of people who only speak brain rot. I'm sorry, what's Riz? Glazing? Like donuts? But this is an island, so he's a hot commodity, so the girls have to compete for his love with their cousin, their other cousin, and their other cousin. In I'm Getting Married to a Girl I Hate in My Class, two people are forced into marriage by their grandparents in order to inherit their wealth, which is a nice twist on modern romance because normally you die alone and broke. Truly, nobody has it harder than Nepo babies like Akane and me. Welcome to Japan Miss Elf follows a man who, when he dreams, goes into a fantasy world with his elf girlfriend, who he clearly doesn't love enough, otherwise he would be overdosing on melatonin. One day he wakes up to see her beside him, but there's one problem. He catfished her in his dream. That's right, he's not really 15. Flashbang.
However, the winner of the worst romance anime of the season goes to I Have a Crush at Work.
This was created to gaslight people into believing that they're not the side chick. These two are in an office romance that they must keep secret. Why? Hey, look at that rat dancing. They wear masks in public, can't show affection, and say things that I wouldn't wish on my greatest enemy.
恥ずかしいじゃん。付き合ってんのみんなに知られたら。
And how do I know there was cheating? Well, because I was there. Even the title is gaslighting. You don't have a crush at work, you have a boyfriend. Swap phones! Aura farming is a craft that Aizen and Doug have all mastered, which leads us to a question. Which anime this season had the biggest aura farmer? Huh? Is that... Her eyes kind of look like... that drink. Could it be... Honey is always aura farming around soda for no reason. The author even creates the most comical American high school movie plotlines for this purpose. A girl, just to be mean, hires gangsters to beat up Soda, but when she calls out Honey's name, he teleports to save her. He can't even stop aura farming when he spills his on her. Solo Leveling Season 2 returned, reminding us that nobody glaces Sung Jin-woo quite like, everyone. He never looks at people when they're dying, always waits till the last minute to save people, and women are even desperate to get a single whiff of him. But that's just what happens when a man wears Ninja Super Gamer perfume. Offer only valid while supplies last. But it can't win for 3 reasons. 1, the diversity hire.
Do you know who I am? My body can possibly be destroyed! I'm invincible!
2, Sung Jin-woo got caught showing crack on live television. And 3, he crowed. Pathetic. Not my aura farmer.
However, the winner of the anime with the biggest aura farmer goes to Sakamoto Days.
A former hitman throws away his previous life for Kobeni, or Jigsaw, honestly hard to tell the difference.
Let's play a game. People will constantly try to kill you, and if you kill a single one, let's just say you better get used to celibacy. Also, I'm going to...
Sung Jin-woo kills people to aura farm, but do you know what's more impressive than that? Leaving them alive. That guy is definitely dead.
Was my vibe not chill enough?
Next, what was the worst isekai of the season? Let's start positive. Zinshu was about an animator so overworked that she didn't even have time to come out of TV screens anymore. She died from eating on company hours. Good! Getting reincarnated into her favorite childhood anime with the ability to bring her drawings to life. It was probably the best isekai of the season due to low expectations, like a competition of middle children. Possibly the greatest alchemist of all time follows a salaryman who got isekai'd with a skill, but here's the big surprise. It's actually a really strong skill, but he just wants a peaceful life. Hey, wake up! At least it brought us great lines like,
奴隷の権利は守られています。
Okay, would you rather be in an isekai with slavery, or without, but you have to do all the work?
If there's no slavery, can I hire someone for money?
Nope, you have to do all the labor. As a slave owner, can I change certain policies so I'm looked at more favorably? Nope, you're a traditional 1700 slave owner. Can I do the work as effectively as a slave if I don't have one? No, you're lazy. The only hardships from your youth was a paper cut. Can the slaves fall in love with you?
Dude, why do you keep trying to make slavery work? However, the winner of worst isekai of the season goes to Promise of Wizard.
そういえば、猫ばあさん言ってたな。風が強くて、猫が騒ぐ。明るい満月の夜には、何か不思議なことが起こるって。
That was oddly specific, and yet oddly not specific. A woman gets isekai'd to become the new wizard sage. Suddenly, a group of men show up saying that they're here to save her. Which one are the bad guys? Oh, probably the people with the crop top gloves. Oh no, it's one of those and one of those! Well, just like a video game, the dialogue flashed before my eyes.
Animation, bad.
Let's see, what was the worst animated show of the season? Bogus Skill Fruit Master was an anime that I made a video on, but to summarize, I've seen more movement during bingo night. Anyway, I'm falling in love with you, yikes. Still frames, funny PNG movements, and eyes that take up 90% of their skull. Its animation is only as egregious as the plot. Is that an unconscious woman? Well, when in Rome.
However, the winner of worst animation of the season goes to Momentary Lily.
I used to scoff at the Way of the House Husband fans who said that anime could be over-animated. That's like saying you can have too many clowns in a car. You can never have too many clowns in a car. But I was wrong. Stop moving their hair every scene like it's a Vogue photo shoot. This was one of the most visually experimental anime of the season. For the record, the Hindenburg was also experimental. There were lots of rainbows, get off my screen. Screen flare, for some reason, get that rainbow off my screen. They spam filters like a teenager's Snapchat, get that rainbow off my screen. This has me sounding like Facebook in June. Oh, it's Studio Gohands again. Maybe go hand some animators to somebody else. As a former NBA player for the Lakers, let me tell you what the worst sports anime of the season was. After probably the biggest rookie season since the Popeye's chicken sandwich, it's good to see Rentaro make his return to the sport of speed dating, and many are belittling his current success. But without Tender Gold, he's averaging 6! The Medalist, if you can't tell, I was not given enough sports anime to work with. This was a heartwarming story about how it's never too late to pursue your dreams. Except for us, it's too late for us.
However, the winner of the worst sports anime of the season goes to Serario Utility.
I love golf. Tiger Woods, golf carts, sand, and I would be lying if I said I didn't like this show too. It follows a girl who's learning to play golf. It's basically the Euro camp of golf. The only problem? It's golf. Here we have a master of her craft. Oh, look at the swing. How marvelous. What was the worst adventure anime of the season? Ubel Blatt had... Bro is not on the team. This is actually not a good adaptation because the protagonist is supposed to sleep with the hot woman here and, here. 0 out of 10. I'm a noble on the brink of ruin, so I might as well try Mastering Magic is one of the few shows I forgot about already. All I remember was reverse aging slaves. Dude, why do you keep trying to make slavery work? It was written by an author who wants to be the fastest in the industry. I am the fastest cook in the industry. Watch. This accurately summarizes his books. Even given the worthless appraiser class, I'm actually the strongest. Luckily, there was a comically placed trampoline at the bottom and not a shallow puddle. The tree, who is a hot woman, saves him and he gains the ability to appraise everything. Movements, time, One Piece. Too bad he couldn't appraise a better story. Also, for the record, this tree fell in love with him because he was the first person to ever say thank you to her. Thank you. Come on, do the thing.
However, the winner of the worst adventure anime of the season goes to Farm Magica.
The author of Fairy Tail came back, proving once again that he is the master at making the same thing. It's basically the world of Pokemon with extra steps that adapts a game which always, and I do mean always, goes well. But let's take a look at the Pokemon. Beetroot? Okay, pretty cool. Koala with a blow dart gun? That's pretty sick. Really hot woman? The average age of people in Japan is getting older, so we are getting more unk anime. So who was the best unk of the season? The daily life of a middle-aged online shopper in another world follows a 40-year-old man who goes to another world with the power of Amazon same-day delivery. But unfortunately, it's not truthful storytelling. This is. What's this on my screen? Where's my nephew? He's good with this kind of stuff. Maybe if I turn it off and back on again. Darn thing. I'm Living with an Otaku Neat Kunoichi is about a middle-aged salaryman. Yeah, that's it. That's his entire personality.
However, the winner of the best unk anime of the season goes to From Bureaucrat to Villainous, Dad's been reincarnated.
It's almost impressive how they reuse the same base format for so many stories over and over again. Almost as impressive as how I will excitedly watch all of them over and over again. A married office worker with a daughter was isekai'd into one of his daughter's otome games. Unlike usual, he actually listened to his daughter talk about her game, so now not only does he have Ninja's Ultimate Guide to Gaming, but his office skills also transferred to this world. One interesting thing that it proved is that men would rather date a man in a woman's body. Swap bodies! Grandpa, don't leave yet!
I see it. The light at the end of the tunnel.
Comedy. What was the worst comedy anime of the season? Bahinako, the elf girl's cat, is secretly an S-ranked monster, is the reverse Inukai-san's dog. And that's why every joke is, she really wants to scratch his post. Hey, get out of here! It's weird when a guy does it. Madaka Kuriwa is Impervious to My Charms is a romance anime about a girl so popular that nobody even hides when they play hide and seek with her. Wow, it sounds like she's writing her own autobiography. Then you have a guy who wants to be a monk, so he suppresses all his sinful thoughts, which upsets the vixen. Every joke in this show is, holy smoke, she's going so far to tempt him. Oh golly gosh, he stopped his emotions. Hot diggity dog, she's mad now.
However, the winner of the worst comedy anime of the season goes to I Want to Escape from Princess Lessons.
Not only is this the worst comedy, it was probably the worst romance anime too. The entire comedy is based off a prince trying to stalk a woman into loving him. There's only 3 ways that kidnapping is romantic. If it's cold outside, they're super rich, hot, and kind, maybe even misunderstood, but that's okay because I'm not like other girls, I'm feisty. Or they're Team Rocket. This brings us to our final award. What was the best trash anime of the season? The Apothecary Diaries returned, which was definitely my favorite anime of the season. Maybe in another universe, you would have won. Tasokare Hotel was about a hotel people went to learn if they died and needed to go to the afterlife, or if they passed out and could go back to their body. This show may have had the most plot armor ever. Some guy was tied up and buried alive, but it turns out he was just unconscious? Is he gonna go back to a big reveal that he was on Japanese Fear Factor? I Left My A-Rank Party to Help My Former Students Reach the Dungeon's Depths was the first anime where the adventurer chooses to leave his party that treats him poorly. Hashtag know your worth. What separates this show from other fantasy stories? Dungeons are streamed for your entertainment.
I just got a donation. Don't help the woman and let her get hit by the beast and I'll gift you 5 subs? Okay.
And the winner of the best trash anime of the season goes to The Red Ranger Becomes an Adventurer in Another World.
The Power Rangers are fighting their final battle.
この深手では。
レッド、お前だけでも行け。
だけど無茶しないでよレッド。絶対帰ってきてください。
Okay, Red Ranger is fighting the final battle, but he sacrifices himself, getting transported to another world. In this new world, he acts exactly the same. It's like sticking a Disney character performer in World War III. It's fun, just fun. Isn't that right, Stalking?
Thank you for coming out to the Winter 2025 Trash Anime Award Show. And how did I watch all of these? Well, I didn't have to because I was there. I was always there. Hello, outro announcer Luna here. Shout out to my whale members Frederick, and click here to check out my Twitch channel, which I recently started streaming on. Click here to check out the recommended video, and click here to check out the most recent video. Okay, oh, and join Discord if you want. Okay, bye.